What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Kara Corey here, and if you are new here, then thank you for joining me. Be sure to do all the things. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell for the post notifications, that way you guys know each and every time I upload. We are here today to just chitty chat and hang out. I did a couple live videos this past weekend, one just kind of hanging out with you guys, honestly, just answering questions, updating you, and a few things we spoke about there I thought I would condense into an actual video for you guys here today. And before we dive right in, I do just want to mention the world is weird right now. It was just 1 week ago that Jason and I mentioned in a vlog how panicked everyone was, and it's crazy to even think about just back to last week, how different things are, at least for us here in New York State, where things are moving rather aggressively in response to folks who are testing positive and just trying to essentially flatten that curve for all of the United States. But in New York especially, lots of testing is being done. So the more we test, the more people are going to be positive, the more we're going to react here. It is weird to think about when that video went live. That day is when they effectively closed all gyms, restaurants, casinos, things like that. Both my sister and brother were laid off. And, you know, I work in a hospital, so I'm kind of in a different field. I am considered an essential employee. Yeah, there's just been so much in the past week. It's wild. And I just want to be here for you guys, not to sound like lame or cheesy, but I think this is where I think back to, and I said this in the live, like we had Ice Storm 98, it was where we grew up, and literally everyone was trapped in their houses. There was no school. It was not safe to go outside because the ice, you could get hurt. People were without electricity for weeks upon weeks. There was no cable. The world was a different place then, and it's not, I'm not comparing apples to apples, so don't get me wrong. People weren't being sick and dying and impacted in that manner. But, you know, that we have been through these types of natural disasters, if you will, and I'm just trying to think about how grateful I am right now, and I want you guys to do the same, and I want to be here for you guys during this time, having this platform to hopefully give you some entertainment, to hopefully provide you with some fun, with a place you can go that's a positive environment, to maybe keep your mind off stuff, even though I am going to refer to, you know, the things that are going on in the world in this video. But I want to be here for you guys during this time to provide you a little getaway, if you will. So I am here and I'm open to feedback for what you guys want to see from me moving forward. I'm open to doing things differently. I'm probably going to do some more live streaming, just kind of checking in with people. That way I can have that immediate interaction with you guys. Although please share down in the community below what's going on with you in your world, where you're from right now. So we can have that interaction, so we can be here for each other. And I know I'm kind of jumping around a bit, but my point with throwing it back to Ice Storm 98 was we didn't have the internet and all these things. We didn't have this virtual access and all these platforms that we have right now, so that even though you may be stuck inside, you know, we can still interact. We can find ways to be creative and still really keep our mind busy and active, which I think is so important during this time. So one thing I wanted to mention is just practicing some gratitude and gratefulness every day. I know things, you know, you can look at the world in two different ways right now. Either it sucks and that's the attitude you're going to take, or you can find some good in it. And I pride myself in being someone that tries to always take a positive outlook in even bad situations. And I know not everyone's capable of doing that, but I feel like there is always good to be found. And right now there's so many things I'm grateful for, and I feel like this all happening should hopefully make us all grateful for the things that we took for granted. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just like drive out and go hang out with your friends right now, or be with all your loved ones, and maybe you're out of work right now. There's a lot of crazy things that we have to deal with, but we will get through it. And I think, you know, Jason and I were talking about this. I think the world will forever be changed, and not necessarily in a negative way. But I understand people are sick and dying from this, so I understand the extent of it and the impact it's having. But for those of us, for all of us, I still think we can take a lot away from this experience. So On that note, I'm grateful. I'm going to say a couple things I'm grateful for, and I'd love it if you guys would comment below either one or as many things as you want that you're grateful for in this very moment. It can be something as small as being able to breathe the air we can breathe right now. We're not in an outbreak situation where the air is contaminated, at least being in our own homes. If you're in a hospital environment, that may be a different story, but it can be something as simple as that. I'm grateful for Bruce Wayne, who you can see part of him down here right now. He's cuddled up by my side, snoring away, totally unbothered and unaware of what's going on in the world, which I always feel like I have a lot to learn from Bruce Wayne because he goes about his day, he takes a positive attitude, he's like, hello world, and he's ready to take on his day and give the people he loves so much love. I'm grateful for him in that aspect. I'm not so grateful for this strapless bra sticky situation that doesn't want to stay put. So if you see me doing this, I'm just trying to keep things covered up in this situation. Also very grateful for a lot that me and Jason have, that we both are still maintaining our jobs right now. Jason works from home. He's still actively working. I work in a hospital situation, so I am still working as well. And I am grateful for that. I know a lot of people are wanting to work from home right now, but I really see a lot of positivity with the teamwork that's happening and just doing what I can to help provide for the patients that we care for. So I'm grateful that I'm able to be a part of that. So I did want to just mention practicing gratitude and gratefulness, and I think everyone's situation right now is a little bit different. So for me and Jason, since we're both working, our schedules are not that impacted. I still have to go to work Monday through Friday, and I'm actually working a little bit longer hours-ish, just depending on the day and what's needed. So not a lot has changed in that aspect for me. On the weekends, a lot of times Jason and I are at home filming videos, I'm doing online client work, so not a lot that really requires me to be in a big group of people. We don't really socially interact with a lot of people. So I feel like our lives aren't as impacted as others, but I know a lot of people's lives are impacted right now, and it's a struggle for some people to kind of transition to what to do right now if you're unemployed, or maybe you have kids that are out of school right now and you have to homeschool them. So everyone's dealing with a lot of new scenarios and situations. And we also have this bigger elephant in the room of when is this all going to end? Or, when will things go back to normal, if you will? And we don't know. Focus on the present day, focus on the day at hand and what you can control, because there is so much that's out of our control right now. This is just some of my general advice for you guys, and I did want to dive into a little bit of kind of the food and nutrition aspect, because that's what a lot of you are here for. Me being a dietitian, this can have some impacts right now. As you know, a lot of areas, we're finding folks are really kind of stocking up, they're preparing for the end of time, and food is not so much becoming scarce, but you're seeing a lot of people really stock up to where the grocery stores are not able to keep up with that supply and demand that's occurring right now. So you're seeing more issues with being able to obtain maybe some of the normal grocery staples. Some folks are really switching gears to stock up on your non-perishable goods, which is not a bad idea. General advice, guys, it's never a bad idea to have a pantry a little bit stocked with some non-perishables. Even just in terms of becoming sick, things like that happen where you can't just run out to the store and get what you need. So it's never a bad idea to stock up on some of your non-perishable goods as well. Thankfully, as we know right now, this virus is not transmitted through food and through our water system. We're fortunate that we're not impacted in that manner right now. But even still, people are really stocking up on those non-perishables. So you are seeing some issues with being able to obtain those right now. I just wanted to kind of mention some general advice in regards to your nutrition right now, because I know some people in the world of fitness, we've got people focusing on competitions and being ready for a competition. And so you got to switch gears with the workouts and what food you're eating. Hopefully things don't have to change much for many of us. I would suggest as much as possible to kind of stick with your regular routine if you can. I don't want you guys to be scared to buy fresh produce and perishable items right now. That's not the world we're living in. And even still, if you, for instance, Jason went to the grocery store yesterday, frozen goods, they're hard to come by. I wanted some frozen raspberries. He couldn't find them. So spend a little more money and get some fresh raspberries, and maybe you don't eat them all, or maybe you want them frozen, throw them in the freezer. So don't be scared of still buying your fresh produce, your fresh items right now. You can always freeze it. That's always an option. Most items do freeze relatively well. They're not going to be as cheap as your frozen or canned goods, but I still suggest getting a mix if you can when you go to the grocery store. Also, just kind of continuing to get that mix of colorful, different, nutritious food. And that can come in many different forms. That can be canned right now if you feel more comfortable with that. It can be frozen. It doesn't all have to be fresh. You're still going to get a lot of good nutrition from those items. And obviously, they're going to last you a bit longer. So it's not a bad idea to be safe if for some reason you do truly have to be in lockdown in your house where you're not even allowed to go to the grocery store, although we are not there. And my hope is we don't get there, that you have a supply that will last you 2 weeks worth. So before you go to the grocery store, before you go full on panic mode, I urge you not to go panic mode, but take a little inventory of what you truly have right now. Before you just go to the grocery store and stock up on everything, take a look in your pantry, see what you have for canned goods, see what you have for things like canned beans, rices, is that a plural? Rice, pasta, cereals. See what you have in terms of like canned fruits, canned vegetables, things like applesauce, granola bars, some of that stuff that is going to last you a long time. Take a look in your freezer. See what you have for frozen vegetables, frozen proteins. Things like frozen seafood is really good to stock up on right now. Things like salmon. You can get tons of different frozen fish, shrimp, all kinds of stuff like that that's going to be real healthy for you, still really nutritious. Some other recommendations too for items you can get if you're looking to stock up on the non-perishable stuff. For protein, I mentioned your frozen fishes and things like that. You can do frozen chicken breast, all kinds of stuff. Also for canned goods, you can do canned tuna, obviously, and they even have canned chicken, salmon. Those are not bad options. Even sardines. We buy them for Bruce, but quite honestly, if we were in a period of time where we needed to eat those are a great source of nutrition. So take a look at some of those canned food items as well. Don't be scared. I would just suggest folks, everyone's situation's different. Like, I feel bad that we're in a position where people are stocking up so much, they have to put limits, because if you're a family of 4 or 5 or 6 or more, and you're only allowed to buy like one of each, I can see where that's going to get really challenging. So don't feel like you have to panic and go wild right now. Just make sure you have enough supplies on hand for 2 weeks and still think about getting nutritious foods in. A lot of people are, I think, concerned in the fitness world, for those of you that follow me on that side of things, that, you can't go to the gym right now and you have to do home workouts, and maybe things aren't feeling as like intense and your caloric expenditure isn't as high. Maybe you're not moving as much because you're used to being on your feet at work all day, and now you're kind of putzing around at home. I'm telling people not to panic either in terms of your nutrition. You don't have to make wild changes right now. You would be amazed how your activity can change sometimes. Your eating can stay the same and you may not see any different results. Your body could be under more stress right now with the way things are, so you may be expending more calories. It could have the opposite effect. You don't know. So there's no sense in panicking. Try to keep things as consistent as possible. But one valid concern I think a lot of people have for those folks who aren't working and you're now in your home is, what do I do with myself? Which can lead to the mindless eating and snacking, right? Sometimes when we don't have anything to keep us busy because we're not working, well, eating sounds good, right? So trying to figure out ways to avoid that. Really keeping your mind and your body active right now is the best thing you can do. So maybe you're out of work right now. It doesn't mean you shouldn't still have a routine for yourself. So I highly encourage you, if you're someone that is used to routine, which I would say regardless of your job, whether you work from home or not, we all thrive on some type of structure and routine, and that will help minimize the mindless eating and snacking. So try to keep within a routine of your day, and maybe you don't have work to do because you're not in a work from home situation, but try to create your own little your at home routine, whether it's going out for a walk a couple times a day, maybe you do laundry first thing in the morning, maybe you do a little meditation in the morning or the afternoon, maybe you take a little time to do some journaling, do your at-home workout. There's so many things you could be doing with your time. So maybe try to nail down a consistent schedule for you, because if you have that consistency day to day, it will make it easier for you to kind of still manage your eating and try to stay within your normal dietary intake and your routine in that regard. If you're finding you're heavily stressed out right now, try to identify some ways that you can manage your stress without eating. I can be a stress eater myself as well, and I find I get more stressed out when I'm at work and I don't have the option as when I'm at home in terms of other outlets of managing it. So I can tend to be a stress eater when I'm at work, but find some other ways that you can navigate that stress. So, exercise is always a great way, but obviously for someone like myself, if I'm at work, just because I'm stressed out doesn't mean I can go take off and go for a walk for 20 minutes. I'm at work. I have to deal with it. So sometimes something just as simple as like giving yourself some space. I'm giving myself an example here. If I'm at work feeling overwhelmed, maybe shutting my door at work for just 5 minutes, giving myself some space, some time alone, and doing some deep breathing. Even something as simple as 30 to 60 seconds of deep breathing can go a long way. Like really right now, just take a deep breath with me, just a real good just sometimes a few good deep breaths can go a long way. Like, it just feels like a release. So even something as simple as that, throwing that into your routine, can be really helpful. So identify some things you can do based on your lifestyle right now that are going to help you manage your stress during this crazy time. I know for me, even though like my weekend isn't that much different, I could feel myself feeling like it needed to be different, if that makes sense. Like, well, do I just stay in sweatpants all day? Because like the world feels like it's ending. I mean, why get ready for the day, But I know myself, and I know I'm a more productive person. I'm more efficient. I'm more positive minded. And this may sound silly if I get my day going and pull myself together. I realize we're rocking the bun head today, but I still feel fairly put together. I showered, I threw on a little body illuminator, did my makeup, tweezed my eyebrows, did some of that kind of stuff. So I feel put together and I feel like I can have a more efficient, productive day. And when I have that energy, I make better decisions with my food and managing my stress. So that might sound really silly. I mean, it's great if you're at home not going anywhere at all, so give yourself a break from the makeup. But if waking up in the morning and taking a shower, doing your hair, your makeup, for me, that's a creative outlet for me that feels very therapeutic. So I know some people may not understand that, but it gets my day going. So right now, it's so key to use this time, to take it as a positive, to really identify ways that you can go about your day that make you feel good. There's part of me that's almost like, oh, I wish I was laid off and I can think of a million things I want to do in my home right now that I feel like I normally don't have time to do. But that's what I'm suggesting to you guys. If you're someone like myself where you feel like there's so many things you could be doing, you just don't have the time, capitalize right now. Write down some projects, and it's not that you have to tackle them all in a day. I would say spread them out because we don't know how long we're all going to be in our homes for, but write down some projects, write down some goals that you have that are realistic right now, whether it's like organizing in your house, spring cleaning, maybe getting some bags of clothes together to donate. Maybe it's starting to read more. How many of us don't read because we don't feel like that we have enough time? I know I'm guilty of that. That's why I'm like a big Audible person, but I actually really prefer like holding a book in my hand and reading it. So maybe you make some goals with books you read. And I realize right now we're limited with accessing stuff, but stores are still delivering. Amazon might be a little slower because they're prioritizing essential items for like medical needs, but there's a lot of different stuff you can do, or like work on how to apply a cut crease, like my sister mentioned. I've never tried a cut crease, but play around with makeup, like do different things right now, play around with different hairstyles. If you're like a dude, I'm trying to think of dude stuff now because I'm being so girly, but like if you're a dude, like play around with like tools or something. I don't know what dudes do. Comic books, video games, like whatever. You don't have to be 100% productive all day long. Like do some stuff that's fun, that just sounds good. Jason and I, just for shits and gigs, dressed up kind of like fun in 80s, and we did an 80s style home workout. Like have some fun with it, you know? Try to make fun of it as much as you can. Like try to make it a fun, positive situation, you know, as much as you're able to, because I know some folks are dealing with it harder than others. For people impacted, there's people out there who have clearly lost loved ones from this. There's people that can't see their loved ones right now because maybe they're in nursing homes and things like that and don't have access to Skype and video technology. So there's challenging times right now, and we can't really change it. All we can do is our best to kind of help with staying inside, staying healthy, washing our hands, not getting other people sick, trying not to be a carrier, and you know, I don't know. It's crazy times, you guys. So I know this was a bit rambly, but I just wanted to check in with you, let you know how Jason and I were doing. We're doing good. And I just don't want you guys to panic, okay? And I want you to know that I'm here for you as much as I possibly can. I know on the live, folks said they still wanted to see like things like full days of eating and normal day in the life stuff. So I'm certainly gonna do more of those videos for you as well. But feel free to comment below what you guys want to see during this time. I'm open to anything and everything right now. I'm just trying to have as much fun with it. And I think this time is almost allowing me to be more creative, which feels good because I do have a tendency to get into these blocks where I feel like I'm doing the same stuff, and then I feel like, what's the point? And if it's not useful to you, then why am I doing it? So I'm just trying to see as many positives as I can out of this. And right now I'm seeing it as a time where I can be more creative and flexible and try new things for you guys that you might find valuable or fun. Like if I can provide you guys a little bit of fun and entertainment, then I feel like my job is successful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this rambly little update with some tips and tricks in there, and hopefully you feel good. Hopefully you feel as good as you can right now. And just know that we are here together, we are a community, and we will get through this. So I wish you guys well, stay safe and healthy. Make sure you do all the things before you head on out of here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.